Hello viewers, Donald Trump has constructed a cult round himself. This is unsafe to America and unsafe to democracy. Cults of persona and governance are largely incompatible with democracy. They commonly erupt in dictatorships, the place the great leaders face, and sayings are splashed all over public places. Think Mao's China, Stalin's USSR, Hitler's Germany, Kim's North Korea. But before we proceed, we will kindly urge you to take a minute of your precious time to hit the subscribe button and then the notification bell for latest updates from us. On a smaller scale and in an exclusive context, we see how detrimental such persona cults can be with the deaths round Jim Jones' Jonestown, David Koresh's Branch Davidians, and Charles Manson's family. This is what Donald Trump aspires to. Back in 2000, Louise and I visited Egypt. Our information was once a retired professor of Egyptology from the greatest college in the country, and as we had been traveling Luxor, he pointed out some writing carved 15 or so feet up a stone wall at the Temple of Karnak. While contemporary Hebrew students may also disagree about why Amen ends our prayers, it was once a lesson for me that I've stored and thought ever since. Beware of leaders putting forward connections to divinity, especially if they're greedy for political or economic power. Trump is now brazenly encouraging his followers to assume of him as divine or, at least, divinely inspired. And this isn't a new pitch, it's simply getting a new spherical of attention. Followers of the Canaan cult and the Fox News cult show up to trust him. And, like these who accompanied the human beings cited above, it's tearing aside families, devastating our politics, and inflicting deaths throughout the nation. It is out of control. Rational humans understand that messiahs don't molest girls and brag about it, don't fleece humans with a phony faculty who simply prefer a university education, don't motivate racial hatred, and don't get crowds to strive to overturn democracy and kill a policeman. But Trump isn't after the rational people. He's a predator, and his prey are the psychologically and emotionally vulnerable, human beings beaten by way of 40 years of Reagan's neoliberalism, now determined for easy solutions to complicated problems. We have to have acknowledged when Trump said, in a Charles Manson moment, that he should shoot anyone on Fifth Avenue, and his followers would nonetheless assist him. Charismatic con guys can make some humans consider anything. For example, almost a 0.33 of all registered Republicans accept as true with that top-level Democrats are walking worldwide toddler trafficking rings to torture and abuse children earlier than draining their blood. Where did this present-day variant on the protocols of the elders of Zion come from? When I was once younger, my preferred writers had been Ernest Hemingway and Hunter S. Thompson, and my favorite Thompson novel used to be his Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, which is why a caller remaining years who began on a rant about Democrats harvesting adrenochrome from youth brought on me to each reduce him off the air and go lower back to my replica of the novel to see if my reminiscence used to be right. Sure enough, there it was. Thompson used to be bemoaning strolling out of cannabis and being nearly out of opium when his fat salmon sidekick provided an alternative. When Thompson pushes his attorney about the place the adrenochrome got here from, the fictional persona tells the fictional story of having as soon as been employed to symbolize a toddler molester murderer who'd possibly extracted it from one of his victims. That little seed, absolutely fictional, planted in the countrywide unconscious returned in the early 70s, has now blossomed into a full-blown flower of a trust held with the aid of actually hundreds of thousands of Americans. As Right-Wing Watch documents, Uber Trump cultist and journalist Liz Crokin explains in one of her many videos. What is your take on this video? Please drop your comments below and thanks for watching.